So, installing a FASS fuel pump. I think I think this is 165. I don't know, gallon an hour one. Um, and I personally own two FASS pumps for both my diesel pickups, and then I've installed a number of others on other vehicles. And just wanted to talk about it real quick because there's some things that I find rather um, some things that I don't like about it, and other things that I do really like about it, and nothing that I've seen on the internet as far as people talking about it. And I guess if you're not gonna want to watch any further, in short, I really like these things. I personally think they're the best lift pump on the market as far as quality goes, and they flow a shitload of fuel. You can get them up to I think like 260 gallons an hour or some crazy shit like that, whatever it is. And of course, cool kids with the pickups run two of them and whatever and blah blah blah. But anyways, all in all, really really happy with the quality of these things. They're all machined aluminum and whatnot, and they have ports where you can actually put electric fuel heaters in them. And then these two ports right here are just a passage that runs through the the body of the pump here, and you can actually plumb coolant into there, like engine coolant, if you're live in some places butt fuck cold and you'd like to do that. Um, like I said, I have two personally. I did have one fail on one of my pickups, but the really cool thing about these, I find, is that um, they're very universal. They're like Lego parts. So if you look around at whether it's a pump that FASS says is for a Duramax or a semi or fucking whatever, this section of it here more or less stays the same. Like, to my knowledge, this frame here and the T block, I think they call it, is identical. It's the pump and the motor that changes, and the fuel pressure regulator spring that's behind this fitting right here. Um, so I don't know, 2 winters ago or something like that, I was driving my Dodge and and I've got a fuel pressure gauge and what have you. Driving down the road and looked over at my gauge and saw that it was reading 0 psi, and I was like, oh fuck, this is fun. And I had a job to go to like that night, and so I didn't have time. And these do come with a really good warranty. They used to be a 500,000 mile warranty. I don't know what they are now, but you send in your serial number and all that kind of stuff, and there is a warranty on these. But anyway, so my truck, I had the fast pump fail. The motor took a shit, and I had a job that night that I needed to get to. So yeah, I'm sure I could have sent it in for warranty and everything, but that would have taken a week or whatever. And I needed to get up and going in, hours, not days. And so I went down to a local parts store, and they actually stock fast pumps, which is kick-ass, and really handy for my application. And I just bought whatever pump they had there. I think it was for like a 6.7 Ford or something like that. And my pickup needs 16 psi of fuel. The Ford's, if I remember right, it was like 75 psi or something like that. But like I said, all of the rest of the pump stays the same. Like I said, the motor will change with a gallon an hour, and then the spring behind here will change for the pressure. So I just bought whatever fucking pump they had for a 6.7 Ford or whatever it is, swapped out the fuel pressure regulator spring for the one that was appropriate for my engine, and away I went driving off into the sunset. Granted, I had to buy a entire kit, that comes with like all the fittings and that sort of shit that I didn't need, but it got me up and going in a couple hours versus a couple days waiting on other parts or something like that. So I really 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 like that, the fact that you can flip flop parts around and that kind of stuff. But So I guess this just show this here real quick. Hopefully it comes across on the video that these are really quite well made. And if you look on their website, you know, they talk about how they have like a nice smooth transition inside of here, and I forget what they call it, but they talk about like how, you know, nice their machining is in there for, you know, improved flow and all that kind of stuff. But what's funny but also annoying, because like I said, there's a couple things I like about this and a couple things I don't. So you've got nice machining in here to try and, you know, limit restriction and all that kind of stuff. And then you can see on this fitting here, it's a 90-degree fitting, just like so. And I might just have to take my word for it, but if you look inside of these, there are very, very sharp edges inside of these things. And so it's just funny but annoying that they, you know, put a lot of effort into, you know, having smooth radiuses on all this stuff, and then they put like a janky, you know, 90-degree brass fitting on the end here. Like, mind you, these are, you know, good, heavy, good quality, all that kind of stuff. But, you know, it kind of is counterintuitive to say, you know, oh, look at how smooth this is and everything, and then you put a 90-degree fitting in there. But these pumps, the pump is actually, like, as far as the flow goes, positioned in between the two filters. So you can see the fuel flow comes in here to the dirty side of the filter, goes through the primary filter first, and then up through this port here, and then into the pump, and then to the secondary filter. So the cool thing is your pump itself is always getting filtered fuel. So if you have, you know, grit or whatever in your fuel tank, it's not going to be going through the pump. It'll at least get filtered by the primary filter before it goes to the pump. So I think that's it about the pump. All in all, I really like them. They're really cool, and they seem good quality and everything. And all the rest of the stuff, well, most of the rest of the stuff that it comes with is pretty nice. They give you a nice wiring harness with it, with like a weather pack fuse on it and what have you. The relay is not weather pack though. It would be, fucking A, it's tight. The relay is not weather pack. It would be nice if this was a weather pack relay, but it's just a standard, you know, 5-pin relay. Dick with that later. And then the hose is Parker, so, you know, big hydraulic company. Jiffy hose, I've actually never heard of that before, but push on, push lock, there's a couple different names for it. In my experience, this hose only holds up for a couple of years, and then the outer sheathing, like you can see the different layers to it there, the outer blue sheathing, in my experience anyways, starts to flake off over a couple years. But all these fittings are compatible with Parker's normal push lock hose that I get from my local hydraulic shop. And this yellow like rubber ring around here indicates that this is a push lock fitting designed for push lock hose. And so what you do is you actually just shove the fitting in the end of here up to the I don't know, rubber condom, whatever there. You shove the fitting into the hose like so, that far, and then you actually don't use a hose clamp on it or anything. And sounds kind of ridiculous at first, but like, so here's the air hoses that I use in my shop, and granted this one here is a different color because it's a different brand, but you can see there's the yellow one there. And you can see in this case the hose is red, or used to be anyways. But I've got blue hose from Parker as well too. I doubt. Oh no, yeah, look at that. You can sort of still, yeah, there you go. You can sort of still read that. And so whatever hose this is here that I use for my air hoses, I have found to be much more durable than this hose here that comes with the FASS pumps, even though they're both made by Parker. Which is rather frustrating because, like I said, some things like the pump and the motor and all that kind of stuff itself on these pumps, I think are great. And then others is like, man, like you could have just spent a little bit more money and got a little bit better components to go with it. But yeah, so like I was saying, on one hand it sounds kind of weird that you don't put a hose clamp on there, but you can see on my air hoses that I don't have a clamp on here at all. And again, the little condom's gone, and I run my air pressure at 180 psi, and I've never once had a problem with these things. And it's hard to tell, but you can get fittings like this that have the coupler on the one side and then the push lock barbs on the other side, so that you don't have to have two pieces. Like this is just one single piece right here, where on the other side, because I like to use these fancy Prevost couplers, you can see I have the push lock fitting here and then the air coupler over here. But don't want to get too far off in the weeds on that, but yeah, it'd be nice if it came with better quality hose. These brackets here that it comes with for mounting are pretty good. This is, I don't know, probably 1/4 inch, and then this is a little bit thicker, which you can tell there. And the reason for these slots is so you can adjust it into all kinds of different positions to move it around to where you want it. This kit, this FASS kit here, came with one of their draw straws, and so what this is, well, I'm not going to be able to put this on here easily, but it's literally a straw that goes through the top of the fuel tank, and then so this fitting sits vertically like so in the top of the fuel tank, and then you have your draw straw coming off the bottom of it. This will actually be the first time I've ever installed one of these. I just don't really like the idea of a draw straw by itself, because just like if you have a straw in your Coke or whatever, Coca-Cola that is, if say this is the entire length of the straw here, if you were to, like this being the bottom, if you were to get a crack or whatever, an air leak in the straw right here, you would only be able to drink, whether it's your Coca-Cola or the fuel in the pickup, you would only be able to drink down to that level, and then you would start sucking air into the system, and then it would lose prime and you're screwed. And so you would lose the rest of the capacity of the fuel tank. So on my setups and most of the ones that we've done for customers, we put a sump on it. The FASS sump is pretty good quality, and then I'll show what I did in my pickup later. I did something totally different, but these are good quality machined aluminum. Really, honestly, nothing bad to say about that. They got a nice O-ring in there. I mean, really, honestly, like beautiful machining work on these things. And so you can see the two ports there. So that would be fuel to the pump, and then this is return from the pump here. And so that's kind of one of the other things I don't like about these. Like, the part itself is made well, it's very good quality and everything, but if you're returning fuel, right next to where you're drawing fuel up, and say, you know, you're down that far in the fuel tank, you know, like the draw straw fitting is up here and your fuel level's way at the bottom, it's going to be splashing fuel at the bottom because of this return right here, and you're going to be potentially sucking air into the system and everything. And I just don't like that. Like I said, I'll make another video at some point about the setup on both of my pickups, because it's probably totally different from what like everybody else does. But so the way they come, like out of the box, they have their own branded fuel filters on here, and they have these little sealing washers around there to help seal from the dirty side to the clean side of the filter. And again, you know, good quality filters, made in USA. I don't have anything bad to say about these things at all. What's interesting though is that if I were a betting man, I would say that these are made by Baldwin. Which is not to say that they're not a different specification or something like that, but I mean, like the little pictograms on the same, or on the two, are like freaking identical. Oh, got a little dent in that one. But yeah, the pictograms on the two are, you know, essentially identical as far as styling and all that kind of stuff. And if you look at the drain valves on the bottom here, and again, even the font and printing on the two filters is essentially identical. And you can see the drain valves are, for argument's sake, identical. And I'm actually going to weigh them here because I've never done that before. And hopefully you can sort of see that. So FASS filter. Really? Sounds too heavy. 1 pound, 5.4 ounce. And then the Baldwin filter, 1 pound, 5.7 ounce. Try that again. FASS filter, 1 pound, 5.3 ounce. Baldwin, 1.57. So that's interesting. I wonder, at some point I'll probably cut open these filters, but both of these are brand new, so I don't want to waste a brand new filter. But yeah, if I were a betting man, I would say that these both are made by Baldwin. Like, obviously the red one is, but I would imagine that these FASS ones are made by Baldwin, which personally I'm a big fan of Baldwin filters. I like them. There's some of the few that are made in the US anymore. As far as the, you know, big companies go, like Fleet Guard used to make all their shit in the US, it seemed like, and Lube Refiner too, but a lot of those have gone overseas. But anyways, so yeah, seems like both of these two probably come off, you know, maybe not the same production line, but I would assume the same factory anyways. But like I said, that's not to say that these are absolutely identical and that they have the same filter element inside of them. Just, you know, it looks like here that the outer cases are the same, and if you look at the end, you know, it looks like very similar there. It really pisses me off when I hear people say, you know, like, oh, you know, don't waste your money on, you know, brand X, you should buy brand Y because they both, you know, come out of the same factory, therefore they're identical. You know, but I don't know anybody that would argue that like a Ford Probe and a GT 500 are the same thing. They both come out of the same factory, but they're two like incredibly different cars. So just because two things come out of the same factory doesn't mean that they're identical. And that seems to be a concept that's lost on a lot of people, and it just drives me nuts. But so show some of the other things here that this pump comes with. So you can see this is from the Ford Quick Connect, because this FASS pump is for a Ford. Forget if I mentioned that. And then you got a push lock fitting on the side here, machined aluminum, you know, good quality, nothing bad to say about that. But what I do have something bad to say about is some of the fittings that these things come with leave a little bit to be desired. They're not junk as far as the brass fittings anyways, but they could be better. And so like this is the fitting that comes with the FASS pump here. And just if you handle it and see it in person, like the machining is not the greatest on it. You can see it's got some nicks on the sealing surface there and what have you. And you can see it's got a very, very thin hex section on there. So if you were to put a wrench on here versus a socket, it would be pretty easy to round that over, versus this one here that I got out of a hydraulic shop. Again, it'd be easier if you could put your hands on both of these to kind of tell the difference. Obviously they were different GIC size, but hopefully you can get an idea there. This one is about twice the thickness of the one that comes with the FASS. And so, like I said, I know that they're a different GIC size, but you can see how much bigger the other one is in basically all dimensions, this aside. Like the hex is bigger, the pipe thread section is bigger, they're thicker, and all that kind of stuff. So FASS one weighs 1.5 ounce according to the scale. The hydraulic shop one weighs 3 ounces actually, so they don't feel that different in the hand, but 1.5 ounce, 3 ounce. And so, you know, this one here being twice the weight, you can, in like these two examples here, you can imagine even if they were the same size GIC, this one would still be a good bit heavier. And you know, I mean, these fucking FASS pumps, they're, depending on the vehicle application and what all extra shit they come with, you know, like the draw straw kit and everything, depending on the accessories that they come with, these FASS pumps are like in the $600 range, and I think they're worth it. I love these things. I really, really do. Overall, have nothing bad to say about these things. But that being said, it's really fucking annoying that, like I said, it comes with these lighter weight, shittier fittings, because, you know, somebody put a lot of, you know, just engineering time. There's a little burr in there. Just a lot of engineering time, and obviously there's a lot of machine time, and, you know, it's anodized and all that kind of stuff. Like some stuff, and the body of this same thing, some of this stuff is really kick-ass. Like I feel like you'd kind of be hard-pressed to get better quality than that one there, and then they send you this, you know. It's like, fuck, really? But I guess I've rambled on long enough about that. Maybe once I get it in the vehicle, I'll take a video of that, but I feel like there's enough videos of installing these things and what have you out there already. I just wanted to talk about some of those extra things there. Yeah, I suppose.